This week on the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast.
What do you remember about this movie?
I remember thinking it was funny, but not exceptional.
Right.
Like, I liked it. I wouldn't say I loved it.
The idea of Scott and Rudd as big brother type mentors to special needs children is awesome. As far as raunchy comedies go, I would rank this under meh. I just slapped him in the face. That's awesome.
We're laughing at the trailer. This
Yeah,
is
that's a
gonna be
good sign. Yeah. I'm excited. I've been
Yeah.
excited before.
And we've been disappointed before.
And I want to laugh more. I want to hear the laughter again. Do people still laugh, Anna? Are they out there laughing?
People still laugh.
The first scene was gross. It was offensive, and it was hilarious.
I actually wrote that down. I was like, I laughed in the first minute. I
Yeah.
actually laughed out loud. And I was like,
Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared. And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
This movie was by accident. We both picked different movies.
yeah.
I picked one. I thought you were going to pick Bring It On.
See, but I watched it literally like last year.
And then I picked Bring It On. You picked something. What was the other one? I can't remember what it was. Which left our current movie, Role Models. For whenever anyone's listening to this, we get 3 movies. If we pick the same movie, we pick the same movie, that's the movie we watch. If we pick different movies, she picks one, I pick 2, then we cancel each other out and pick the third movie that was there, which is kind of, I think, a cool way of doing it. This was the third movie that neither of us picked. So, November 7th, 2008, Role Models. Okay, so that means we go to the tail of the tape.
Let's go.
Tail of the tape, 2008 comedy film Role Models is rated R for crude and sexual content, strong language, and nudity, and comes in at 1 hour and 39 minutes. Taglines. Danny and Wheeler were just sentenced to 150 hours mentoring kids. Worst idea ever.
That's a terrible tagline.
Yeah. They're about to get more than they plea bargained for.
Mediocre.
I am not a role model.
That is not a tagline.
No. And that's all it. That's the taglines. So
those are terrible.
Yeah, they're not great. The synopsis. After salesman Danny, Paul Rudd, and Wheeler, Sean William Scott, our friend from we did
American Pie 2.
American Pie 2. Oh, that was great.
It was good.
Trash a company truck. The court gives them a choice: jail time or community service in a mentoring program. Thinking to take the easy way out, the 2 overgrown adolescents find themselves paired with a teenager, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, who has experienced the pangs of first love, and a foul-mouthed 5th grader, Bobby J. Thompson,
Yep,
who needs an attitude adjustment. So, tagline's not great. Synopsis, pretty standard kind of stuff. And okay, so before we get to the reviews and stuff, what do you remember about this movie?
I remember thinking it was funny, but not exceptional.
Right.
Like, I liked it. I wouldn't say I loved it. But that was also because at this time there were so many movies coming out with kind of the same feel and the same vibe. So it kind of blended into the background wave of all of these movies. But I do remember liking it and laughing.
Right.
I may have also been a little drunk, but not super drunk, but a little drunk when I watched it.
I remember liking it, and I remember thinking that was funny, but then I kind of when you picked one movie and I picked another, and this was the one we got stuck with,
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. And
I don't think I've seen it since 2009.
yeah, and there must be a reason for it because I didn't see it in theater, so I probably rented it.
Mhm.
I didn't buy it, and I was buying DVDs at this time. So now I'm kind of worried that it's not as good as I remember, even because why haven't I seen it since then?
That is also a concern. I know I watched it on TV. I did not rent it. I definitely didn't buy it. But at the same time, I was very into movies like this at the time.
Yeah,
So I'm like, I think I did enjoy it, but it wasn't, I don't think it
like
was a
was it?
movie I actively sought out.
Yeah, like was it okay and just not good enough to?
No, I laughed. I thought it was funny, but it just didn't feel super memorable to me.
Yeah, okay. I'm kind of there because I'm wondering why I haven't seen it since
Yeah,
then because I
same.
haven't seen it since then.
Neither have I. Honestly, I kind of forgot it existed
Yeah,
until it showed up on that list. And I was like, holy crap.
and I only put it on the list because as I put Bring It On and the other movie, this kind of popped up when I was looking at
Mm,
2000s
yeah.
comedies. And I'm like, oh, role models. We'll put that on. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be watching Bring It On anyways.
Little did you know, we'll have a
Little,
special Bring It On episode because you have to watch the sequels too.
yeah, I'm sure I've watched at least one sequel, but there's quite a few of them, isn't there?
There's quite a few of them and they get more and more just ridiculous. And I love
Yeah.
it.
So let's look at the poster for role models.
Mhm,
For everyone listening, become a role model is there's three posters on a wall. Sean William Scott is sitting on the curb drinking, and Paul Rudd is peeing on the wall.
mhm.
And it just has a couple squares underneath role models for the other actors in the movie. I think Elizabeth Banks is in there, McLovin,
Bobby J. Thompson.
Bobby J. Thompson. Yeah.
Oh, Ken Jung?
Yeah, I
Ken
like
Young?
him. He's awesome.
Yeah.
The poster's great actually for that type of comedy back in 2008.
Mhm.
So this is where I kind of have been getting excited because we go
Ooh,
over to Rotten Tomatoes. Now, 163 critic reviews. That's a lot.
that is a
On
lot.
Rotten Tomatoes has this movie at 77%.
That is crazy high.
250,000 audience ratings has it at 74%.
Also crazy high.
Yeah, but the critic consensus is Role Models is a frequently crude, always funny comedy with a cast providing solid work throughout.
All right then.
We're going to go to the fresh. Role Models could have been another formulaic comedy fresh off the assembly line. Instead, the work of Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott here is worthy of praise and one of the funnier films this year. A formulaic movie can be lifted out of its built-in rut by making it look like it invented the formula. Almost everything works here.
Impressive.
Role Models could have been another formulaic. I just did that one, dummy. I'm going the wrong way. Great
It's
stuff.
okay.
No, oh, great stuff, question mark. No, not really, but it's entertaining and funnier than most things that show up claiming to be comedies these days.
Interesting.
Kurt Lauder, remember him from MTV?
Yes.
If the picture sometimes seems like little more than a clothesline for gags and its dude child characters are beginning to look like shop worn,
A little shop worn.
look a little shop, thank you,
No
and it
worries.
sinks into
Raucous.
raucous
Raucous.
silliness towards the end, it's still consistently funny. Chicago Tribune, role models wobbles like crazy en route to a surprisingly strong finish.
Interesting.
Rolling Stones, sometimes a shamelessly stupid, proudly profane R-rated comedy is all you want out of life. Role models more than fills the bill. Roger Ebert, Role Model is the kind of movie you don't see every day. A comedy that is funny. That's Roger Ebert.
Go ahead, Roger.
Each bottom-feeding joke managed to be more side-splitting than the last. It's all very wrong, but strangely enough, also quite right.
Mm-hmm.
At the movies, I really had a lot of fun. So, Bobby J. Thompson upstaged the entire cast with his wit. Thompson was so crass, I haven't seen a kid curse this much in a movie since Linda Blair in The Exorcist.
Damn.
The idea of Scott and Rudd as big brother type mentors to special needs children is awesome. There were so many to choose from. Like when you get critics at 77%, and 168 of them. Not a lot are rotten, but there were a few.
Yeah.
Still, it's not complete torture, even when exerting minimal effort. Paul Rudd is hilarious, and that's a bad review. Although it delivers a constant dose of chuckles, you can't help but wonder if Role Models falls short of its potential. Like its main characters, the movie is simply stuck on stupid.
Correct.
Role Models deals in the kind of overgrown frat boy humor that is sometimes funny, sometimes stupid. Here it is pretty evenly split between the two camps. Though stupid may have a slight edge. As far as raunchy comedies go, I would rank this under meh. IMDb 235,000 viewer ratings, give it a 6.8 out of 10.
Okay.
Some IMDb ones was Suck It Reindeer Games, which is a quote from the movie. So much funnier than I was expecting. Rudd and Scott are a hilarious duo. I hath laughed me head off. Although it had its moments, still not great. These are the bad ones. Juvenile comedy at best. Formulaic but charming in its way. 5 out of 10. Fine line between funny and weird. 3 out of 10. So yeah, we're gonna watch the trailer, and then we're gonna guess if we're gonna like it or not.
Why do we still do this job?
This is the best job in the world, man. We get to wear awesome outfits, and it's totally easy to do hungover.
Let's rock West Academy.
The energy drink, Minotaur, is good.
Woo! Taste the beast!
Minotaur!
Oh, God.
A large black coffee.
Do you mean a venti?
No, I mean a large.
Venti is a large coffee.
Really? Says who? Fellini?
You know what? You've been picking fights with everybody. I can't stand it anymore. I'm moving out.
Woo!
Good morning, Flexible.
Your electricity is out.
Just doing my part to save this big blue planet.
Your water is shut off, too.
Like I said.
Oh, hey!
All right, we're here. You can let it down. Too late. It's already up.
Chase the beast.
Destruction of school property, vandalism.
Shut up!
They wanted to give you 30 days in jail.
What?
But I worked my magic on the judge. Instead, you have community service. You're going to Sturdy Wings.
We bring adults and children together to enhance the lives of these children through one-on-one friendships.
I already prefer jail.
Your kid's name is Augie Parks. This is Danny. He wants to be your new friend.
I wasn't really 100% yet. Don't judge me.
No worries, my liege. Ronnie's one of our youngest. No one's lasted more than a day. But I think you're perfect because you're young and you don't want to go to prison.
What up, Ronnie?
I don't want to take my pants off.
What? Been talking for half an hour. Kids barely said a word. I don't want to be alone with them, Danny. Oh.
No. What are you doing?
Maybe you should think about losing the cape. People tend to avoid people in capes.
This fall.
She got some boobies on her.
Never stare at the boobies, kid.
But how?
It's called training. You don't think I've noticed the 34 C's directly to the left of us?
Boobies.
Don't look over there. Look here.
It will take a couple of boys.
Are you sewing?
Yeah, this is my country's emblem, and we would like to invite you to be a soldier in the Xanthian army.
To make them men.
This community service has given me some perspective. You complete me. You had me at hello.
Oh, God, Danny.
Suck it, reindeer games.
I'm not Ben Affleck.
You white, then you Ben Affleck.
You are white. It's true, I am white.
Let's go.
Role models.
See you tomorrow, Ronnie. Oh,
I just slapped him in the face. That's awesome.
We're laughing at the trailer This
Yeah,
is
that's a
gonna be a
good
good
sign.
sign.
Yeah.
Normally, the trailers instill fear in us, so this
Yeah.
is great. This is
Yeah,
very
usually it's
positive.
followed by, "Come on, nostalgia." So what do you think? You gonna like it or not like it or
I think I am gonna like it, and, I think I'm gonna ask myself why I haven't watched it again.
I agree because this movie's rated R for strong language, sexual content, nudity, and that trailer does not look like that, not a complete like that type of movie.
Yeah.
So it kind of tells me that the best jokes are not in the trailer.
Yep.
And yeah, I think I'm be questioning like, why haven't I seen this? Once I started reading the reviews and now the trailer and everything, I usually wait till Monday to watch the movie or sometimes even Tuesday, so it's fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna watch it tonight, but I might watch it tomorrow. Like I'm pretty
Wow.
stoked to see this movie. Maybe Friday. I probably won't
Yeah.
wait till Monday to watch it.
We're gonna watch this movie and, hopefully laugh our asses off. God, I really
Yeah,
hope so.
I do too. I'm excited. I've been
Yeah.
excited before,
And we've been disappointed before,
but we
but,
have been pleasantly surprised before too.
yeah, true.
And
So
I'm
true.
starting to think, what the fuck? Where is Shawn Michaels Scott? Because
You mean
I'm
Sean William
remembering.
Scott?
Oh yeah, what I say? Shawn
Shawn
William Scott.
Michael Scott. I was like,
Shawn
"Is
Michael
there
Scott. Who's
another?"
that? Sean William Scott. Because
Yes.
American Pie 2 was very pleasantly surprising.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's funny.
He was on the Lethal Weapon show, apparently.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was on the Lethal
Yeah.
Weapon show. But
And
I remember
then
this movie might not be good, but I remember the other American movies being funny. I remember The
yeah.
Rundown with The Rock being funny and
I remember that being really funny too.
yeah, just wonder what happened. Did he piss someone off?
Maybe he just retired.
No, maybe.
Like, maybe he did enough work and he gets enough royalties that he's like, I'm good."
That's
Maybe
true.
he lived, like, in a nice one-bedroom apartment for the majority of his acting career,
Yeah,
and then that was it. He was like, "I'm gonna
banked it.
retire now."
Yeah. See you guys.
Yeah.
Stifler out, suck it. All right, we're gonna go watch this movie and then come back and say whether we liked it.
Fantastic.
You heard them. Movie time. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat, and then watch a classic kick-ass movie from whenever the one we're about to watch was made.
And now, on with the show.
So, your initial thoughts?
Dude, this was fucking funny. It's it okay, it's fucking funny, but it's not one of those movies that, like, you keep the humor throughout. It's like you get the hits of the jokes. It's a joke movie. I still liked it.
Yeah, yeah. My initial thoughts are, I miss comedy movies. Like
Right?
the first scene was gross, it was offensive, and it was hilarious.
I actually wrote that down. I was like, I laughed in the first minute. Like, I
Yeah,
actually laughed out loud, and I was like, "Oh, what
yeah.
is this?"
I giggled like a immature high school kid. And I was thinking, like, I think I'm gonna really enjoy this movie. Yeah, so I haven't laughed this much at a movie in a while. Actually, to be totally honest, I have 2 other times, and it was for comedies, that we reviewed for the podcast. American Pie
Yeah.
2 with Sean
Yeah.
William Scott and Just Friends. I know I went back and looked, you didn't like it as much as I
I
did.
did not. I did not like it as much. I laughed a little bit, but it was like, "This is not what I remember it being."
But yeah, I had a lot of fun watching this movie.
So did I. It actually kinda surprised me a little bit because I thought I would laugh at it and I would like it, but I didn't realize how much I would laugh.
Yeah.
And how many of the laughs I didn't see coming.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
some of them just surprised me, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's the direction we're going. That's funny."
I'm not shitting on comedy movies now, like today. Well, I kind of am, but more the amount or the lack of comedies and the fact that studios seem to be afraid to try anything.
I think there's a lot of subtle comedy now. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Where they're trying to go for, like, intellectual comedy, which,
which is
don't get me wrong,
fine.
I like.
Yeah, but
But this
that's
is this
not
is
that's
not.
it.
No, this is literally a bunch of, like, friends who got together and just started saying, "Wouldn't it be funny if?"
Yeah.
And then they put it all in a script. That's very much the vibe, and I'm not mad at it at all.
No.
How about it?
They just don't seem to be making them.
No, not comedy movies like this, where they're like this unabashedly, without shame, is going straight for a laugh.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that about this movie because they're not trying to be smart. They're not like, look, here's a really great plot and we're going to craft the comedy around it. They're just like, this sounds like a ridiculous idea. Let's flesh it out with jokes. And I was like, yes, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I enjoyed laughing. And I want
Mhm.
to laugh more. I want to hear the laughter again. Do people still laugh, Anna? Are they out there laughing?
People still laugh. People still laugh. Sometimes I don't find what they say funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes I find it hilarious.
No, I get most of my comedy from sitcoms, which is more like comfort food because I loved them as a kid.
Yeah.
And just I like chilling and watching them. And they don't make me laugh out loud, but I get a guffaw, a giggle here. I usually get my stuff now from stand-ups and podcasts. And that's when I
Mhm.
those two movies that were coming out with Jennifer Lawrence called No Hard Feelings.
Mhm.
Um, and the Burt Kreischer machine one. I'm really excited because they look like it's harkened back to those type of movies, which,
Yeah.
like I said, the opening scene of Danny waiting for Wheeler, who shows up with a very attractive woman dropping him off. Then Wheeler asking Danny, "Guess what I did last night?" Then sticks his finger. I giggled my ass off. Oh,
I laughed hard at that because I
yeah.
was like, I have friends who would do that to me.
And and this set up the entire movie. Oh, they
Yes.
do it to you. That's kind of gross.
I have some gross friends.
Yeah.
Just run with it. They're good peoples, but
Yeah.
sometimes
At
judgment
least
is not the greatest.
yeah. At least they're not afraid to be fun.
This is true.
Yeah, this was going to be an immature, funny movie. So let's go over this movie. Role models Danny Donahue, Paul Rudd, and Wheeler, Sean William Scott, are two Los Angeles salesmen for an energy drink, Minotaur. They tour Los Angeles area schools driving a Minotaur-themed SUV to deliver infomercials disguised as anti-drug speeches, which was funny as well.
So awesome.
Wheeler loves the job, but Danny, on the other hand, hates his job. Yeah, the whole opening was awesome. It really showed us who the characters were, what they were, what they were doing. One loves it, Wheeler. Danny hates it. They chug energy drinks all day until their pee is actually turning green. That was pretty.
Which I was very concerned because as it starts rolling and you see the different schools that they go, and he's always and then in the car they're drinking the energy drinks. I'm like, how are you not dead? That was also a very 2000s thing. Everybody was drinking energy drinks.
I was, yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't because I didn't
until
like
I
them.
found out just how bad they are. Yeah,
Yeah, no, they'll kill you.
yeah. I've read actually, yeah, I've read things about people that were very healthy, and the doctor was like, they found they drank a lot of energy drinks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and just
it's
turned their blood into like syrup. That's not
see, so
funny, but it is.
now watching this, because in 2008, everybody's just like, "Oh my god, these guys are all hyped up.
Yeah,
Like they're on uppers. It's crazy." Now we can watch it and be like, "How are they not dead?"
yeah,
Because
yeah,
now we know what that stuff does to you.
yeah. And even when the kids are harassing them, like when they're like, "Nice outfit, homo,"
Oh my god.
asking if they got the costume from the gay zoo, but Danny corrects him, and he's like, "It's a minotaur, and it's
Yeah.
a mythological thing." And then Wheeler's like, "Yeah, I got out of your
I got
mom's closet after I fucked her, or she gave it to me after I fucked her." It was
I'm
just
not even gonna
awesome.
lie, that was hilarious.
Oh, fuck. And this is all in the first what, 5 minutes, 10
5
minutes?
minutes.
Yeah.
First 5 minutes.
Okay, so then Danny has a realization of what am I doing with my life when they get back to the office and Wheeler's throwing him a happy 10-year working there party. Danny also possesses a constant negative attitude toward life, which results in the collapse of his relationship with his girlfriend and attorney, Beth. This brings us to the coffee shop, where Danny just wants a large black coffee, which kind of confuses the barista. Danny has a meltdown, and Beth is like, fuck this, you're negative, and decides they need a break. Again, funny scene.
A very funny scene.
Yeah.
Very funny scene, but I will tell you right now, I have multiple notes on this coffee scene. One, whoever was the makeup artist on this, or whoever gave direction to the makeup artist, they're an asshole for what they did to Elizabeth Banks. She looked tired, worn out, and she wasn't wearing any mascara, and I felt for her. Her makeup was shit in this scene. Two, I've had that exact same conversation with stuck-up baristas when I walk into a place and they have the weird names.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's Starbucks, sometimes it's other places because they've decided to be jerks too. And I'll say, like, I want a medium, whatever. And they're like, you mean? And I'm like, you know exactly what I mean.
Yeah. Just give him my
Don't
coffee.
just give me the fucking coffee. Don't cop an attitude with me. And yeah. So I enjoy this scene for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
I identify with Paul Rudd, and I feel bad for Elizabeth Banks for what they did to her face. But overall, I always like a good breakup scene.
Yeah, and it was actually funny how it came like it came around to Vendi. Is it Vendi?
Venti, yeah.
It's 20 in Italian.
Yep.
Yeah, and then she's like, they call it that because it's 20 ounces, you moron. He's like, really?
But very valid. I'm like, yeah, okay, that one's actually appropriately named. Now, if they named everything else,
Oh yeah, but
whatever the number
we're
of
totally
ounces,
on board
yeah,
with Paul
the
Rudd.
tall, the grande, because he walks up and he's like, "Can I get a large coffee?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "What?" And
Yeah,
you're
so-
like, "Oh, you know exactly what he's saying.
Yeah,
You know,
black coffee. It's easy.
just pour the fucking coffee. Be like, for
And
next time, order like this."
that joke has been in a few things
Yes.
where it's been like, can I get black coffee? Well, do you want this black coffee? This black? Yeah,
It's okay. We
but
used
it's
to
still
do that
funny.
too.
Yeah.
Still happy.
Hoping to get his life back on track, Danny spontaneously proposes to her. Not only does she turn him down, she breaks up with him. So this is when he goes to Beth's office. The actor there, an actor by the name of Matt Malloy, was very awesome. He's been in a ton of shit.
So good.
And he's a great
So
example of
good.
a character actor. Like he's
Yes.
been in, I looked it up, 148 TV shows and movies, like big shows and big
Yes.
movies. But just that certain face, that certain characteristic you need for a character. And yeah, he was funny. When they catch him.
He was awesome. That's not me.
That's not me.
Look
And then
at me.
He's on the camera
Stealing TV.
giving out his full
Naming
name
it-
as they're stealing
Naming
TVs.
himself. Yeah.
Well, that could be any Steve.
It wasn't me.
Oh, it was a funny scene.
Yes, it was.
After making a disastrous sales presentation at a high school, which that was awesome,
It was so great.
the duo finds their company truck being towed away. Did you notice the security guard
No.
that was trying to stop them?
I know. I saw the security guard, but I didn't see his face very clearly.
One of his earlier first day, Louis C.K.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I didn't know that until after when I was doing this. I just saw the security guard.
I have a personal ick for Louis C.K.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, on account of his, thinking it's hilarious to just whip out his dick whenever he wants. Anyways.
They protest by trying to drive it away from the tow truck, but end up crashing it onto the school statue. Again, another funny scene.
Yep.
Danny and Wheeler are arrested, and the judge sends the two to a 30-day jail sentence. Beth, however, manages to strike a deal with the judge in which they have to log 150 hours of community service over the next 30 days. The judge selects for their community service a Big Brother-style program called Sturdy Wings, led by Gail Sweeney, Jane Lynch, an ex-drug addict who takes an instant dislike to Danny Wheeler. The opening to Sturdy Wings was awesome.
Yes.
The creepy guy, Martin.
Oh God, yeah.
He's been there for like 5 years.
He's been there for 5 years, and he just keeps coming back, and he's so enthusiastic, and there were so many things about him throughout this entire movie that I was like, "You're fucking amazing."
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just that weird, awkward guy who
Yeah.
keeps
I
showing
don't know
up
if
and
I'd let my
smiling.
kids alone with him,
Oh,
but
fuck no. Not even a little bit.
but he was funny.
But he was funny.
The
We can
hot
hang out.
chick that Wheeler hits on even though she's engaged. And then I saw Keegan Michael Key,
Yep.
and which didn't really pan out to a whole lot, which I was a little
No,
disappointed
I
in.
feel like any scenes he might have had may have been cut
Oh yeah, that's true.
in the
Yeah.
interest of time.
Because I was reading there was a ton of ad lib. Like they ad libbed a crap load.
Well, just looking at the cast,
Yeah.
you've got like comedy gold here. So I can imagine they
Oh
could riff
yeah.
off of each other for hours in the same scene.
Yeah.
That would have been such a fun set to be on.
And then when she was demonstrating appropriate hugging and inappropriate hugging of a big and a little.
Yes.
For those listening and don't remember, Jane Lynch gets the creepy guy to help demonstrate Martin and does a proper hug. And this
Yep.
is appropriate to do with your little. Then she spins him around like he's her prison bitch, wraps her arms around him and thrusts her pelvis directly into his ass. I almost spit my drink when Wheeler's like, well, obviously we're not supposed to butt fuck the kids.
I literally barked out a laugh at that because I was like, whoa, because I was like, oh my God, that's weird. And then all of a sudden he says that, and I was like, oh shit.
And it was so funny because now I don't know if I know early millennials will, late millennials, Generation Z. This was the type of shit when you were at work. This was the type of shit you said to your friend or your work friend, or
Yes.
when you were, and you would do it under your breath. That weird, outrageous, and that's what made it so funny.
Mhm.
Well, also made it funny because of what was going on. But yeah, that was.
Yeah, there's Jane Lynch
She
and that Martin.
was good.
Oh God, so good. But she's one of those. Her comedy creeps. The character comedy creeps up on you.
Yeah.
Like you don't realize until like you're 3/4 of the way through the movie, and you're like one of my favorite things about this movie.
Yeah, and she plays it straight.
Oh God,
Like
so good.
so straight. And it
Yes.
makes it but she says the most outrageous things
Yes.
and keeps straight.
Yes.
Okay, aware of that their presence at Sturdy Wings is court ordered, she warns them that she won't accept any BS from them, and that if they fail to carry out their task to her satisfaction, she will have them sent to prison. That's also when Danny Wheeler are off to the side, and Danny is like, "Screw this! I'd rather go to jail." And Wheeler was like, "Yeah, but you want to get raped?" And then Gail is there, and he's like, "You might have took that out of context." And that whole
And then she's like, "What?" And he's like, "When I just told him."
Yeah, and then repeats everything he said. And then she goes on that BS, don't give me your BS.
Yes.
And they're confused at what the fuck is she talking about?
It's fantastic.
Wheeler is paired with Ronnie Shields, a foul-mouthed streetwise miscreant obsessed with boobs who has driven away all the other adults he has been paired with.
Mm-hmm.
That whole scene was awesome.
So good.
The picture Ronnie drew with the big boobs and the guy with the giant boner. And
Yes.
when Wheeler tries to make small talk, and Ronnie's like, "I don't want to take off my pants." And he's like, "What? Whoa."
It's like, so he's trying to grab and you're not doing anything about it? Oh,
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jane Lynch's Gail character is
Yeah.
like across the room. Okay, that's enough. Right. So obviously
He's
this
done
is
this
him.
before,
one's,
yeah.
It's not shocking to her, but it does freak out Wheeler. Honky wants a handful of my balls.
Then he's like, "That's
well,
racist."
that's racist. How Sean William Scott got through those scenes with that kid, I do not know. Bobby J. Thompson.
Yes.
Oh,
Part of me just wants to give Sean William Scott a high five and be like, thank you for this.
Yeah.
I don't know how you did it, but you're amazing.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, Danny is paired up with Augie Farks. That's what it says. I didn't catch his last name that's what the plot says. A nerdy teenager obsessed with live action fantasy role-playing games. Christopher Mintz-Plasse plays Augie. Not as in your face, shock value funny as Ronnie, but Augie is more relatable with being the outsider, not fitting in, like really not fitting in. And he's doing that whole scene when they go up onto the top of the roof and find him.
And he has a soundtrack.
Yeah.
Fucking love that. Fucking love it.
Initially, the pair find their task extremely difficult, with Danny unable to find any common ground with Augie and his narrow interests, and Ronnie taking virtually no interest in Wheeler. After a few days, they gradually bond with their respective parents. This is the plot. So they missed a few things. First, they take the kids to that Chuck E. Cheese, like the chipmunks, but as in like actual monks, as in Robin Hood, Friar Tuck.
Yeah,
monk.
I know. It was super weird, but I was into it. But
Danny goes to, it's called Lair role playing, but which is actually LARPing. LARP
is live action role playing, but Lair is their version of it without worrying about copyrights.
Okay. Yeah, and then Danny is kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Danny is like, no.
Have you ever LARPed?
Fuck no.
No?
No.
That does look like it could be fun.
No, it looks like a good time. I don't have the patience.
Time for that.
I don't have the patience for it.
That looks like a huge commitment.
Yeah, good morrow, good sir.
Oh yeah.
Fuck that shit.
And yeah, Danny didn't get it at all.
No.
And then we see Augie's kind of, not a big deal, but at least he's well known in that community.
Yes.
And then we see Ken Jeong, the king, coming out of the burger hole. They did a really good job setting up this nerdy outsider world for Augie. Ronnie takes an interest in Wheeler's favorite band, Kiss, and discovers that Wheeler shares an obsession with boobs, while Danny reluctantly Okay, so yes, Ronnie loves the fact that Kiss But okay, so it missed a bit. When we go back, Wheeler and Ronnie drop Augie and Danny off at the lair. And Danny's like, pick us up in 2 hours.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
when Ronnie's like, fuck you, Miss Daisy.
Honestly, that was a great line.
And it's those little jokes that pop out of nowhere type thing, especially from that kid. And then he wants orange juice. So Wheeler goes to the store.
Not from Concentrate.
Not from Concentrate.
None of that shit.
He takes the Jeep for a ride around the parking lot.
And Jane Lynch pops up there to get her bagel hot dog.
And tells him to push the hot dog back in. I'm sitting there going, what the fuck is that?
I was like, what?
Ugh.
This is weird, but okay. And then he finally gets into the car with Ronnie.
Yeah. And like, I want my juice. Oh, this juice? And he drinks it on Ronnie.
I think it's because you just got two basically 10-year-olds in there. That Sean William Scott was playing an overgrown 10-year-old and Ronnie was playing an actual 10-year-old. And it was great.
And that whole slapping, punching scene on the ride home was awesome.
That was so fucking good.
And Wheeler tells Ronnie,
to take the wheel.
Take the wheel. He tries to slapping Paul Rudd. And then Ronnie gets in and just jumps in the back and starts punching on Augie for no reason. They finally drop Ronnie off, and and Wheeler's like, I'll see you tomorrow, Ronnie. He's like, fuck you, asshole, and then slaps Wheeler right in the face, like a hard.
Like that was a pimp slap, yo. That was a pimp slap. Takes him out.
Fuck you, asshole. Oh God. Now, where are we? During a Sturdy Wings camping trip. Okay, so before that, Wheeler drops off Danny, and Beth is moving out. Then they have that whole scene where Wheeler tries to cheer him up, and everything he says doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Wheeler goes and picks up Ronnie up the next day, which kind of catches Ronnie off guard. We meet Ronnie's mom. We meet Augie's stepdad, who is a dick, but a funny dick. Like, at least they made him comical. Not a total douche, just an out-of-touch douche.
Yes. They gave him a bit about personal space.
Yeah.
Where he leans in too close, and you notice every time you see him for the rest of the movie, He's always standing just a little too close.
Yeah. And they kept doing it. It wasn't just for that little bit. They kept doing it.
They kept doing it, and they kept doing it. And sometimes people noticed, sometimes they didn't, but he was always just a little too close. I loved it. Also, Ken Marino is one of my favorite people in the entire world.
Yeah, he's funny. I was actually just watching an episode of, I'm now watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and he's on there right now in this season as the moronic police chief, and he's funny.
My favorite is him and Veronica Mars. Absolutely love him.
I haven't seen Veronica Mars.
Watch Veronica Mars. Watch it, but you have to watch season 1 to 3. Then you watch the movie.
Oh yeah, they made a movie of it.
And then you watch season 4. Okay, them's the rules.
He is funny. I have seen him in quite a few things, and yeah, he is funny. We meet Augie's mom as well after Danny takes Augie back to the LARPing or lair, and tries to get what it's all about, and he tries in the most douchey way. Wheeler takes Ronnie to his house. That's where they start playing the Kiss pinball, and Wheeler starts telling him about the band. That was actually pretty good too. I didn't know Jews could sing like that. Oh God.
They couldn't. That's why they had to paint their faces.
That's why they look like clowns. And then he's telling about how how the meanings of the song, that he's really talking about his dick.
He's like, his dick is the love gun.
Is the love gun.
And you're just like, oh God.
And Ronnie's rocking out.
Yeah.
And then they go to Sturdy Wings to hand in their hours and ask about getting more hours so they can make their 150 in 30 days. Again, Gail does her don't bullshit a bullshitter, and they said, what was it? Here's Mr. Bullshit and Dr. Full of Shit. And
he's like, who has the PhD?
Yeah, which one? Who has the PhD? He's more worried about who has the PhD.
Oh God, that was a good one.
Yeah, and then the stuff she was saying doesn't even make sense, but you could tell she believed it, which made it really funny. And that's why Jane Lynch is awesome.
Was that when she had her cocaine meals talk?
Oh yeah, you know what I had for breakfast? Cocaine.
Yeah, cocaine. You know what I had for lunch? Cocaine. You know what I had for dinner?
It's
Cocaine.
Like, let me guess, cocaine? But now she tells them about the camping trip weekend, and our heroes are like, well, that'll be a ton of hours. So now we get to the camping. During a Sturdy Wings camping trip, Wheeler uses Danny's Ambien to try to have a drugged out sex with another mentor. Okay, they skipped a bunch of other stuff too. The whole camping trip, so this is when Wheeler teaches Ronnie about how to subtly look at boobs when he catches Ronnie staring at titties everywhere. That's what he says. Yeah.
Boobies.
And he's like, well, you didn't think I could see the one at 3:00, and Ronnie's actually doing 1, 2, 3.
Ronnie's
like,
looking around.
Titties.
Boobies.
Even the mountains.
Yes. After the mountains, when Ronnie says boobies, I was like, the way he said it with such awe in his voice, where he's just like, you amaze me, sir, that you saw so many boobies. I was like, honestly, I got to give you props for that, man. Got to give you props.
Danny telling a scary campfire story of how children all over the world are abducted and sold into
but can we talk about
slavery?
Martin before that?
Yeah.
Because Martin tells the story, right? He tells this horrible story about how the pediatrician gets killed by the pizza guy. Steve, I think his name was. Or Patrick, but nobody knows that because he was at the very beginning of the story and nobody even knew that the pizza delivery guy had anything to do with any of this. But anyways, did you notice that he was still wearing his backpack?
No.
When they first arrive, he's wearing his backpack and has all of his things attached. When he's sitting there around the campfire telling the story, he still has his backpack on.
No, I didn't notice that.
And then when Keegan-Michael Key, like after they're like, okay, that's after the sex trafficking, he's like, okay, well, we're all gonna go, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna make s'mores with white chocolate.
Oh yeah.
And Martin's like, I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. So yeah.
So Danny and Augie are bonding, with Augie offering Danny induction into his team, the Lair Country. Danny, of course, declines. Wheeler Wheeler taking the Ambien, and it was the actual mentor that turned Wheeler down that
Yes.
said that when we're out of town, I'm allowed to fool around. They take the
Area
Ambien.
code
Yeah, Eric.
fidelity.
And then does she fall? She falls asleep, and then he has to go to the bathroom
She falls asleep. He leaves to go to the bathroom.
naked, completely naked.
Completely naked, just walking. Martin sees him. Martin's still wearing his backpack. And then he like goes off. And then it's the next morning.
Yes. And the woman's passed out in her tent with the tent wide open, and her
Yep.
boobs are hanging out.
Yep.
Ronnie finds her, of course.
Yes. And he has a beautiful morning for him.
And Wheeler is completely naked,
Passed out right by
ass
the
up.
campfire. Ass up.
Unfortunately for
Yeah.
women, ass up, but not a bad ass.
It's a nice ass.
Yeah.
I mean, not super stellar, but it's nice. It's
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah, I've seen worse.
Yeah. Me
Every
too.
time, every time I catch myself coming out of the shower. You can tell Sean William Scott did some workout before this movie.
Sean William Scott is in very good shape.
Yes. Yes. And he's in a new TV show.
Is he?
Yeah. And it's on Fox.
What is his new TV show?
It's actually, I watched a preview of it today. It is called Welcome to Flatch. He plays a Father Joe Bingoff. It is a comedy, and it looks very funny. And he's been just doing little things here and there. Like he was in
Yeah.
Goon, Ice Age, Bloodline, Lethal Weapon. Did you ever watch that movie Becky? With the girl that's getting hunted down by it's Kevin James actually plays a bad guy. It's kind of a dark comedy. That's
I
why
don't
Kevin
think I've
James is
seen
in
it.
it. This girl survived. So they made a sequel, and this time the comedy bad guy is Sean William Scott. And it's called Becky, The Wrath of Becky.
I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, I have not seen the Becky movies. I have not seen this TV show, but I'm going to try to catch them because this just reminds me of how fucking funny Sean William Scott is.
He is super funny.
Yeah. Okay, then we get to the morning with, Connie was her name, passed out, and Ronnie seeing her boobs.
Yes. And he's very happy about it.
Yeah. And Wheeler's passed out by the campfire. Ronnie and Augie, actually, then they get in trouble. I think more Wheeler than Danny, but Danny gets in trouble too.
Yes, because Danny brought the drugs.
He brought
Wheeler
the drugs.
used the drugs.
Danny brought them.
Around children.
But Ronnie and Augie cover for Wheeler and Danny. But they are on thin ice. At the same time, Danny tries to make up with Beth for his mistake, but to no avail. Beth must commit to the breakup as she feels it is for the best. And then we get a music montage of the guys or the bigs and littles hanging out. And that was a nice little touch of them and they're bonding a bit more. We also get Augie convincing Danny to call Beth. And as Danny is leaving a message, Augie keeps telling her to tell her that you love her whispering eye. When Danny says it, the look on Augie's face was priceless.
Oh my God, he's like, it means vagina.
It means vagina.
He does this little giggle.
And he's like, real classy, man.
Oh my God.
So I wanted to see if that was true. And I went down a small rabbit hole, and yes, it was. And okay, so I went down this little rabbit hole, and to bring everyone along with the year it was popular, penis and vagina terms you might want to use or try to bring back, because yes, it was actually used back in days of yore. Whispering eye. Also, Bell chose. This is 1300s. Altar of Venus, 1500s. Netherlands. Placket lace. Phoenix nest.
What?
That was in the 1600s. Nature's Treasury, around 1630. I can't remember. Contrapunctum,
Sure.
1600s. Privy Council.
Ooh.
The aphrodisiacal tennis court. Ladies low to pay.
Ladies
This
low
was in the
to pay.
1700s. Mount Pleasant. Petticoat Lane,
Ah, yes.
Venerable Monosyllable, I can't pronounce this one, Fancy Article in the 1800s, Mrs. Fubb's Parlor,
Mrs. Fubb's Parlor.
Antipods,
Oh my God.
Thatched Cottage.
Ah, yes, of course.
I don't know if it's Cyprian or Cyprian Fountain.
Probably Cyprian.
And in the 1900s, or 1903, Road to Christening. Men
Okay.
was just, they were Master John Goodfellow in the 1600s, Generating Tool, Pioneer of Nature,
Oh, Jesus.
Don Cipriano. This was back in 1650s.
Really?
Matrimonial Peacemaker, 1700s. Gentleman Usher,
Oh, a gentleman usher.
Rule of Three. This refers to like the two balls as well. The Silent Flute, 1720s. Impudence, Staff of Life, Mr. Peaslin, and The Credentials in 1895. That was popular.
Oh my God, sorry. I just see a lot of I'll show you my credentials.
Mrs. Fubb's Parlor.
Oh God. That's a good one though. That's a good
Oh, yeah. So, unfortunately, their success is cut short when Augie manages to kill the arrogant King Argaton, Ken Jeong, during one of the role-playing games, with the latter lying and claiming he killed Augie first. When Danny angrily defends Augie, the king permanently bans them both, causing Augie to cry in front of everyone, including Esplin, who is Alexandra Stamler, who he has a crush on. Wanting to apologize to Augie, Danny goes to dinner at his house. That was good too.
amazing dinner.
Because they were kind of happy that he was kicked out, so maybe he can do some normal stuff.
They were like, maybe now he can be like just regular and do everything that, and we can burn all of his clothes and he can wear not wear a cape. And I'm like, you should always wear a cape. But other than that, the Augie's parents are assholes, big giant assholes.
Yeah, Augie. Yeah, and Augie's mother, Lynette, Carrie Kenny, and her live-in boyfriend, Ken Marino, Jim, in the movie, are glad Augie has been kicked out of Lair. Thank Danny for helping that happen. Seeing how unhappy Augie is, Danny criticizes Lynette and Jim parenting. He criticized their parenting skills and for not supporting Augie's hobby. Both Lynette and Jim are insulted by this, and Danny is then kicked out of their home. Nevertheless, Danny still defends Augie. Yeah. And that's where we begin to make the shift from all-out comedy to all-out comedy. Then the heart is starting to show through the message. It's a little corny, but...
It is a little bit corny, but it's not ridiculously corny, because even at that table, you can still sense from Paul Rudd that, Danny doesn't want to defend him.
Yeah.
And he kind of agrees with the parents that it's weird and why anybody would want to do it, he doesn't know. But he's like, but Augie looks sad. He likes it. Let him do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, man.
Wheeler, meanwhile, takes Ronnie to an adult party in Venice and leaves him unsupervised while he has sex with a blonde he meets at the party. Having seen the movie and the blonde in which they speak of, I would have sold my children. Not all of them, but there's a couple that I gladly sell. The teacher, because she's a school teacher, right?
She's a school teacher, and then she puts on her glasses, puts up her hair, and she does this whole
you've been a bad
stern,
boy. And
at
first he's kind of like, I gotta go get my friend.
He's like, no, I can't. I'm here with a friend. And then she puts on the glasses, puts up her hair, and tells him to sit right down. And he's like, well, okay, he can wait. He's fine.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
Yeah.
You've been a bad boy. He's like, yeah, I've been a real bad boy. And I've never had a teacher look like that in my life. Not when I was
I don't
a kid.
think I have. I've had some hot teachers.
Men?
None of my male teachers were hot.
Oh, okay.
But I've had some pretty hot female teachers where I'm like, hey, you do well at the club, my friends.
Because, okay, so Wheeler almost does the right thing. And as he's looking for Ronnie, he's checking his messages. Ronnie's mom is like, it's late. Where are you? Then, where are you? And then Ronnie walks all the way home alone. And feeling abandoned, Ronnie walks all the way home alone. Ronnie's and Augie's parents consequently ask Sturdy Wings to assign them new mentors, and Gail expels Wheeler and Danny from the program, thus failing to meet the 150-hour goal needed to complete the community service. As such, the pair is given a court appointment where they will likely have to serve their 30 days in jail. I think they're at 10 hours short or 11 hours short?
11 hours short.
Yeah.
They needed 11 more hours and it just wasn't happening.
And in the elevator, Danny berates Wheeler for leaving Ronnie behind while Wheeler scolds him about his whining. The two have a falling out and go their separate ways. Yeah, that was funny too.
That was funny.
The whole fight in the elevator.
It's so hilarious. And the mom that was in there with the kid, where she's like, excuse me, could you watch your language? Oh, sorry. You're an S-H-I-T-T-Y. He can spell. And you want to go? Yeah, let's go. And then it's just fighting in the elevator, fighting that falls out of the elevator. I was like, I love it. They're overgrown 12-year-olds.
Yeah. In the elevator, Wheeler goes to Ronnie's house to get permission from Ronnie's mother to hang out with Ronnie after he gets out of jail. When he says, when I get out of jail,
when I get out of prison.
Yeah, when I get out of prison.
I'm really sorry, and I don't, but I'd really like to hang out with Ronnie when I get out of prison. And the mom's like, that's up to Ronnie. Like, what?
Meanwhile, Danny looks through his closet and finds the battle tire Augie had given him. Remorseful for his actions, he secretly meets with the Lair King to negotiate Augie's readmission, where Augie can fight in the afternoon's Battle Royale, the final battle of the year.
But then we need to point out that the king double crosses Danny and Augie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
We are not happy.
And I'll add that there are those scenes where the kids get their new bigs. And when Ronnie and his new big, Martin, the creepy guy, and they're drawing and he shows Ronnie his picture, I love spaghetti. And Ronnie shows his.
Wait, I think I wrote it down.
I did too. Martin is gay for Roblox, and there's a picture of a creepy, this guy, Martin, with a giant boner go exploding through Roblox.
Yes. Honestly, I was like, can we get the plate? Like, I want it.
Oh, God.
It was fantastic.
Fantastic. Danny then sneaks Augie out of his house so they can prepare for the Battle Royale that day. But while Danny is visiting, Augie learns that Xanthia, his fantasy nation, to which he belongs to, has expelled both Augie and Danny, the former being that Augie's too much of a liability. This was set up by the king.
Yes.
Danny offers to form a new team with him, but a team must have at least 4 members. Danny calls Wheeler and asks him and Ronnie to join the battle so that Augie will have enough teammates. Dressed up as the members of KISS and riding in the Minotaur SUV, Danny, Augie, Ronnie, Wheeler arrive ready to fight in the Battle Royale as the members of Kiss My Anthea, a new nation. Augie's parents, Ronnie's mom, Gail, and Beth come to watch. They don't come to watch because they want to. They're actually looking for their kids.
Yeah, their kids have disappeared and they never showed up to court.
So Danny and Wheeler abducted them.
Yeah, so everybody just shows up.
Yeah.
When Beth knows they're at Jefferson Park.
Near the end of the battle, Augie squares off against the king and kills him in front of everyone. Okay, before that, the battle was funny.
The battle was hilarious.
It was really good. The funniest part was when Wheeler getting killed throws himself in front, and then Danny's consoling him, and they kind of make up. He's like, will you hold me? He's like, no. Will you kiss me on the cheek? I don't want to do any of that. Like, are you not dead yet? And then as he's getting up.
Yeah. I liked it when Ronnie died. And he's like, well, what do I do now?
Oh, yeah. You got to do
like,
a noble.
You got to die. You got to die with like a noble death or whatever. And he was like, And then he drops. And then he's like, how was that? That was really good. Yeah.
As Danny is getting up from Wheeler and smacks him right in the nuts with his sword. Yes. That was funny.
It's always fun when someone gets smacked in their nuts.
And then Danny sacrifices himself battling the king, allowing Augie to kill the guards guarding the king. And then Augie kills the king. And Augie's victory is short-lived as a hidden player, Esplin, the girl that he has a crush on, attacks and defeats him. Augie's parents, Lynette and Jim, congratulate Augie for his performance and recognize how happy he is when role-playing. In the after party, Augie finally speaks to Esplin, who asks him to be her co-regent, and the two kiss. And he's like, that was funny too. He's like, fuck yeah.
It was sweet.
And then Danny serenades Beth in front of everyone with improvised version of the Kiss song. Beth and the two reconcile. Gail, impressed with the pair's efforts, promised to intervene with the judge with whom she has a long-standing relationship. That's when she said, because I wrote it down, I don't want to get too graphic, but I used to suck his dick for drugs.
I like how that's the not too.
That's the clean version.
That's the clean version. I used to suck his dick for drugs. But
So
it's the
they're not
way
going to
she
jail.
says it, where she's just like, I used to suck his dick for drugs.
So Wheeler and Danny will be able to get their names cleared.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our movie. All right,
Yes.
let's move on to score with your pros and cons, whatever you want to say.
I am giving this one a very solid 7 out of 10. It was really good. Yeah. I thought it was funny. I definitely see why I liked it back then. I still like it. I will probably end up watching it a few more times. I don't think I'll actively search it out, but I think when I'm in the mood for kind of a silly comedy, this will be a good thing to put on. It's something I don't have to think too hard about. This is a great choice.
Yeah, no, I have to say, after going through the rating synopsis trailer last week, I was stoked and excited to see a comedy movie that made me laugh. And I was not disappointed. Was it raunchy? Fuck yes. A little politically incorrect? Fuck yes. Did it have titties and a little man ass? Fuck yes. And I laughed throughout the whole thing. It was a comedy movie that was funny and made me laugh out loud. It also made me want to search out other older comedies with Sean William Scott and Paul Rudd. And we previewed that last week where there were dozens, not one or two, dozens just from 2008.
Yeah.
It's a little cheesy, but the cheesiness also helps bring the movie together, and it has some really funny parts in that cheese. The battle royale was cheesy, but the fighting, the kiss armory shots and the balls, the talking between the combats when after they've been killed, and the guy's like, it's fun, right? And you're like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Your email.
Yeah, I'll email you. Yeah. My only gripe with the movie was Elizabeth Banks. Is it Elizabeth Banks? Yes.
She plays Beth, yeah.
She played a straight character, which was fine, but any actor could have done that. Elizabeth Banks is a funny actor who was kind of wasted here. But that was it. I loved it. As a comedy, it was fantastic. I gave it an 8.
Nice.
Why I liked it initially, the reason I like it then was the same reason I like it now. It was funny. I might like it more now because the drought of comedy in the movie landscape, and maybe that's why I gave it maybe a little higher, because like you said it back then, there were 1 or 2 of these movies coming out a week.
Yeah.
Like hard comedies, and when you go over that list just from like that 1 year, a lot of them were fucking funny and good.
A lot of them start to kind of blend together in your memory because they are kind of similar and the same people are in them.
Yeah. What about you? Is that like, why did you initially like it?
I think I initially liked it because I do actually like raunchy comedy. And I like dark comedy, and they were funny jokes. I think that's why I initially liked it. It was funny and irreverent, and it didn't take itself seriously.
No.
Which I also enjoyed. And I still enjoy it. I just keep forgetting that I still enjoy it. You forget that these movies exist, and then you watch them again and you're like, well, shit, this is funny. Why have I not been watching this for the last 15 years?
Yeah. Again, and that was one of the things. Like I was like, why has it been so long since I watched this again?
Yeah.
Like, I like to laugh. I like funny movies.
I like funny too.
If you liked it then, me personally, I would say buy it. I wish I did. I probably will order the unrated version. I probably wait till it's on sale, Blu-ray or 4K, just for bloopers, and maybe cast commentary might be a fun thing to watch. What about you? If you like it then?
It depends on how much you like it. So if you liked it a lot, like almost pee yourself, buy it 100%. But I mean, for me, it's not a buy it. I think it's funny. I laughed through the entire thing, but I didn't think it was hilarious, but I thought it was fun and good. So I probably wouldn't buy it. Rent, stream.
If you have never seen it, if you like comedy movies, like laugh out loud comedies with like some boobies and man ass, I'd rent it. I think
Yeah.
if you're at home on a rainy weekend and are like, I would like to watch something funny, I think it's worth $3 or $4.
If you like off-color comedy,
Yes,
a
raunchy
100
comedy. Yeah,
yeah, a mild this is also mildly raunchy, like, it's not that
that's true. Yeah,
offensive. So, if you like, mild raunch comedy, 100% rent it. It's worth it,
yeah.
100%.
Could it be rebooted or reimagined today? I would say no. Like you couldn't get better than Shaw William Scott and Paul Rudd.
Honestly, it doesn't need to be rebooted or
No,
remade, it doesn't.
and you're not going to get a better Ronnie or an Augie, Christopher
Yeah,
Mintz-Plasse and Bobby J. Thompson.
no, it's good just the way it is.
Yeah,
Don't fuck with the original.
yeah. This is one that doesn't have to be touched.
Yeah, I wish more people would understand that.
Yeah,
Just fucking shit up.
there's a lot of remakes.
Yeah, so many.
All right, so that is it for role models. Thank you for watching or listening to the I Remember Liking That podcast. Join us next week for a new episode.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking,